Question 1. OTR is evaluating problem solving and sequencing skills of a client with a long-standing history of mental illness while making brownies for a mix. The client is hesitant to engage in the task and requires multiple cues in order to initiate the task. In order to promote engagement of the client during evaluation, which is most appropriate initial action for an OTR to take based on this observation. Answer choices. A states, evaluate the client's cognitive function to make a simple meal. B states, determines the client's interest in meal preparation as a goal. C states, schedule the clients for meal preparation group session to improve skill level. And D says, determine the client's home environment and need for real preparation. And the correct answer is B, determine the client's interest in meal preparation as a goal. Now, in client-centered, it is essential to collaborate with the client to determine their interests and before developing a goal. Also, this creates a plan, provides the opportunity for the therapist and the client to create a plan together based on what they're interested in. It also creates a way of problem solving. This is when problem solving occurs most often at the time when the client is presented with a familiar, enjoyable task. They're able to problem solve much easier and kind of figure out their areas of weakness, what they need to improve in, or what they're having difficulties with. Clients experience greater motivation, to take in new information and apply that they have learned when they're engaging in tasks that they find enjoyable or desirable. Question 2. A client diagnosed with depression and anorexia nervosa attends an evening sport group for 90 minutes each week. The client reports limited occupational engagement. The OTR collaborates with the client to develop a plan to increase involvement in aviational activities. The client expresses interest in exercise and volunteerism. In high school, the client was captain of the swim team, played tennis, and worked in an after-school program for young children. Which is the most appropriate activity for clients to explore? Answer choices are local elementary school for volunteer opportunities. That's A. B states area soup kitchen for volunteer opportunities. C states town swimming pool for open swimming session. And the correct answer is A. So exploring a local elementary school for volunteering opportunities best meet the most beneficial criteria, and this is because it addresses the client's interest in volunteerism, and it also expresses with an after-school program for young children. So providing a client a familiar context and a familiar occupation in which to engage encourages participation, and it's likely to come back with the symptoms that she's having, like the depression symptoms and the isolation symptoms and the withdrawal symptoms as well. Question 3. An OTR is working with a client with intellectual disabilities at a group home setting in the community. The client is at a level 4 Allen cognitive. A level 4 Allen cognitive. He can attend for up to 1 hour, and his basic living skills are intact. What type of activity is most effective for a client at this level? Answer choices. A states swimming at the community pool. B, buying food at the grocery store. C, assembling packets of plastic utensil. D, making a simple birdhouse from a kit. Now the correct answer is answer D, making a simple birdhouse from a kit. This is the most effective activity for a person at level 4 Allen Cognitive, because the craft projects in kids are common activities. So at this level, they're more on providing a form of goal, that focusing on a type of goal, on a type of or orientation or steps of sequence, some form of problem solving. These are the things that they're able to do, or that are kind of tangible for them to be able to perform. So that's the reason why the answer choice is D. Question 4. An OTR is working with a 3-year-old child who has spastic quadriplegia and needs a new sitting and positioning device. What approach is most appropriate to use when selecting the new device for the child and family? And the correct answer is going to be answer C. So answer A states a sensory motor approach. Answer B states that it'll be a learning motor approach, which focuses more on normalizing muscle tone. And then answer C states, answer C states a biomechanical approach, and then answer D states a neurodevelopmental approach. And the answer for this is going to be a biomechanical approach, and this is because it's the most appropriate approach to use when selecting a positioning device for a child with spastic quadriplegia. And basically, and for the family in this type of situation, this approach focuses on like postural alignment, joint stability, musculoskeletal problems. One of the key principles of this biomechanical approach is providing optimal sitting position and using equipments to support the child's alignment, trunk control, and making it most appropriate choice for this child and the family. And question 5 states, an OTR is completing a feeding evaluation of a 3-year-old child who has mild hypotonia, immature oral motor control, and oral hypersensitivity. The child sits in a standing dining chair during meals and requires moderate to max assistance for a caregiver for feeding. When attempting to swallow food, the child hyperextends the neck, elevates both shoulders, and has poor lip closure. What information should the OTR include in the initial caregiving instruction based on this observation? Again, the answer choices are methods for using chiropractic to stimulate facial muscles prior to the feeding. B states handling techniques for facilitating full forward neck flexion during feeding. C states adaptive positioning techniques for promoting trunk alignment. And then D states neuromuscular facilitation techniques for promoting head and trunk stability. And the correct answer is going to be answer C. This is more focusing on adaptive positioning techniques for promoting trunk alignment, and it should be included in the initial caregiving instructions for feeding. Adaptive positioning techniques, they basically provide a firm base of support to the trunk and the feet of that child. So having the trunk stability during feeding is vital for safety. It's also important for swallowing, and it's also important for the child to be able to manipulate the food and the eating utensil during feeding. And that's it.